When my parents got divorced, I was about 12 years old. My mom and I moved into a little two-bedroom apartment. I remember it being a really rough period of time since I'd been in the same house for so long. We didn't have cable or internet hooked up yet, so there was nothing for me to do to distract my sadness. So about the second day in the new place, I walked over to the movie rental store. Yes, that was still a thing back then. And I rented Walk the Line. The story of Johnny Cash's life. I watched that DVD at least 60 times over the next month. I knew every line in it. As silly as it seems, Johnny Cash got me through a rough point in my life, and whenever I'm sad, I still go back and watch that movie. Since 12 years old, I've been a pretty big Johnny Cash fan, even considering the name Cash for a future child. Now today, I'd like to highlight a few interesting things about his early life, his more interesting moments, and his life with June Carter. Hopefully, you will find him as fascinating as I do. Johnny Cash, born John R. Cash, or Jr., was one of 7 children Ray and Carrie Cash had. He was born February 22nd, 1932, in Kingsland, Arkansas, according to JohnnyCash.com. He had a somewhat tragic start. Biography.com's Joe Magasco tells about how much Cash loved his older brother Jack. When Cash was 12 years old, Jack was cutting wood for the family when the table saw pulled him in. He was able to live agonizingly for a week after that before passing. After the incident, once playful Cash became much more serious and introverted. He even helped to dig the grave for his brother, rendering him covered in dirt for the funeral. JohnnyCash.com said that after high school he moved to Michigan to work on an automotive plant, which did not last long, and soon he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. He was stationed in Landsberg, Germany, where he organized his first band, the Landsberg Barbarians. Cash had an interesting midsection of his life. It's well known he had a bad boy, drugs, and booze reputation during the beginning of his career. Biography.com's Joe Magasco says he was arrested 7 times, one of the most famous being for when he crossed the border to buy amphetamines, to which he was addicted. He was caught with 668 dextrine and 475 Equinil. From 1959 to 1968, he was arrested for public drunkenness, reckless driving, drug possession, and even picking flowers. Of course, he was picking them drunk at 2 in the morning from someone's yard. The incident inspired a song on his album At St. Quentin, though. His addictions were spinning out of control, and if it didn't stop, his career would soon come to a halt. Luckily for Johnny Cash, he met the love of his life, June Carter. JohnnyCash.com says that by 1967, the Carter family helped him overcome his addictions. And by 1968, Johnny and June were married. His career flourished when he renounced drugs and married June. They even sang quite a few songs as a duet. According to Biography.com's Joe Magasco, a little-known fact is that he actually became an ordained minister. Once he married June Carter, he revisited his faith. Following a 2.5 years of study in the late 70s, he received a degree in theology. He was encouraged also in his studies by the Reverend Billy Graham, who became his dear friend. He never led a church service, but he did preside the wedding of his daughter Karen. Another little-known fact is that June and her family are actually the ones who wrote the hit Ring of Fire, according to Rolling Stone. On May 15, 2003, June Carter died while having a heart valve replacement surgery. Less than 5 months later, on September 12th, Johnny passed due to diabetic complication, reports the Rolling Stone. Overall, Johnny Cash was an interesting man who I could talk about all day. I wanted to highlight some of the lesser-known points about him, his early life, his more interesting moments, as well as his life with June Carter, as they are some of my favorite areas. I hope that you were able to find out more about Johnny Cash today, and that it will inspire you to do your own research. Even if it's just renting the movie, Walk the Line, when you're feeling down. I assure you, it's a great story.